From the Fox 25 studios in Oklahoma City, this is the Fox 25 Primetime News at 9.
We start with an update to breaking news. Right now, Oklahoma City police are looking for the person responsible for a deadly stabbing. It was a newspaper delivery woman who found the victim early this morning. It happened around 7:30 near Northeast 39th in Prospect. Police tell Fox 25 the delivery woman found the man naked and covered in blood on the front porch of a home. Neighbors say this kind of crime is not normal in their area.
That is nerve-wracking because it's just not something that happens in your neighborhood. I've got grandkids coming over, my great-grandkids coming over, and the first thing they're going to want to know is what happened to the people over next door.
Our neighborhood is like it is now. It's pretty quiet. A lot of the people that lives over here has been here for years.
The victim's name hasn't been released, and police do not have a description of the suspect. Breaking news overseas, at least 61 people are dead after a 7.3 magnitude earthquake hit in the Iraq and Iran border. Cell phone video shows people rushing from a mall as the quake hit. At an Iran news agency also said that some 300 people were hurt. The USGS says that it was centered 200 miles north of Baghdad and was felt throughout Iraq. Officials are urging people to stay away from buildings and avoid using elevators. Back here at home, problems mounting at the state health department. The Oklahoman is reporting the department shifted some federal funds into programs the money was never intended to fund and now faces a $30 million shortfall. That could grow if the agency has to repay the federal government. A state audit found the agency was not reconciling expenditures in time and had as much as a 6-month lag time on monthly reports. It also found problems with the handling of money from the U.S. Department of Agriculture for nutritional programs. The commissioner, Terry Klein, resigned last month. Right now, the search is on for an inmate who did not return from a work release. Lawton police say Timothy Benbamondi was supposed to return to the center Friday night, but never showed up. They say that he should be considered armed and dangerous. If you see him, you're asked to call police right away. We've got you back tonight. Identity theft can feel like a full-time job trying to overcome replacing credit cards, closing bank accounts, or changing passwords. But there is a way to avoid the headache. Local task force agents are offering to educate the public to prevent scams against Oklahomans. Fox 25 Sharday Gray has a preview of what you can learn in tomorrow's seminar. Sharday.
Maria, scams come in all shapes and sizes, ranging from using your credit card at a gas pump to fraudulent checks. But tomorrow you can expect to hear from 2 experts who will help you avoid being a victim of a scam. Take a good look at these checks. To the untrained eye, they look normal, but they're counterfeit money orders. You can expect to see these checks at tomorrow's Scam and Sham seminar.
You want to look at your bank statements. You want to pay attention to your credit report and make sure that no one is opening up accounts in your name.
That's just one suggestion to be on the lookout for, but there's numerous ways scammers are targeting victims.
When you have an item that perhaps you have for sale and they offer you more than what your item is worth, that's a red flag.
Christy Favor says scammers will target you just about anywhere, from swiping your card at the gas pump to giving your card to a waiter at a restaurant, and that person has a skimmer. But she says senior citizens are most likely to be targeted.
They will go through whatever means possible to try and get your money. They don't care if it's in a 401k, they don't care if it's in a bank account, they don't care if you go into debt to get money to get to them.
So what do you do? Favor says when it comes to checks, if it doesn't pass the spell test and it seems too good to be true, then it probably is.
You want to look for misspelled words in any type of communication you get, whether it be text or email.
And with the holiday season right around the corner, Favor says tomorrow's seminar will keep you one step ahead of scammers.
You don't want to be a victim to these type of scams.
Tomorrow's seminar will be held at Surrey Hills Baptist Church off Northwest Expressway and Mustang Road at 10 in the morning. The event coordinator says this is a free event and is open to the public. Maria, back to you.
Well, speaking of scams, we got you back with a warning from Netflix to keep an eye on your inbox tonight. The streaming company says scammers are sending phishing emails claiming that you need to update your billing information. When you click on the link, it looks like you've landed on the real Netflix site, but it's a fake. It asks for your personal information and your credit card information. Netflix says that they will never ask for your personal information over email. If you think that you may have received this email, you can visit Netflix Help Center, and here you're taking a live look at the website. That's what it looks like. You can report the problem here and get the issue fixed. New tonight, some positive changes could be coming to veterans hospitals thanks to Oklahoma Senators James Lankford and Jim Inhofe. A bill passed on Thursday that would allow Secretary of the VA to remove or demote VA employees based on performance or misconduct. The bill was introduced after reports of problems in VA hospitals in Oklahoma. Earlier this month, the Department of Veterans Affairs said problems included a lack of stable leadership and patient safety programs not being completed. Right now, President Trump is in the final days of his massive trip to Asia, and the last leg is not without its controversy. Fox News correspondent Brian Yenas reports.
President Trump is on the final leg of his 5-country tour of Asia, arriving in the Philippines Sunday morning. The president moving from one economic summit right into the next, wrapping up APEC in Vietnam. Next is ASEAN, the gathering of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, and talks are expected to center on trade, security, cooperation, and increased economic ties in the region.
The most important thing for the global economy and for the global safety is to make sure that we control and can contain the chaos that will happen in North Korea.
The summit is being hosted by Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte, an outspoken critic of the United States, and in particular President Obama. This comes on the heels of a weekend filled with controversial tweets, most notably Saturday night, when the president tweeted, quote, "Why would Kim Jong-un insult me by calling me old when I would never call him short and fat? Oh well, I try so hard to be his friend, and maybe someday that will happen."
That was the president just responding the way he does to somebody who insulted him first. But I look at the full context of his entire trip and everything that he's trying to do. I think it's been an incredibly successful and inspiring trip for those who care about North Korea not being nuclearized, for those who care about free trade in this country.
President Trump will hold additional meetings and bilateral talks on Monday, including more discussions with President Duterte before returning to Washington. In New York, Brian Yenas, Fox News.
Well, it was just another kind of gray day here in Oklahoma, and we're still seeing those pretty thick clouds over Oklahoma right now. This is in spite of a pretty substantial cold front which moved through early this morning. That brought those strong northerly winds. High pressure is moving into the north, but it's going to be too far north and east for it to really clear anything out. And check it out, we have ourselves a ton more clouds coming in from the west. So guess what? Tomorrow's going to be cloudy once again. Tonight's going to be cloudy as well. Low temperatures a little bit lower than that, but isolated sprinkles and drizzle possible. We're going to be down into the 40s, not 60s for tonight. 20% chance for some sprinkles or so. By the time you're getting up at 8 in the morning, 50 degrees, mid-50s by noon. By the time you get to about 5 o'clock, mid-50s again. Sprinkles and a little bit on the chilly side, so your dog won't mind, but you probably are going to need that jacket. Low temperatures for tonight, this is what we're looking at. 48 degrees in Oklahoma City Metro. A little bit cooler up to the north, courtesy of a little bit drier air further to the north, when those clouds will finally leave us alone. Coming up in your Storm Watch forecast.
We've got your back with a couple of street closures that could affect your commute tomorrow morning. Northeast 122nd will be closed until Tuesday between Santa Fe and Broadway Extension for railroad repairs. Northwest 150th will shut down between Council and County Line until December 22nd. Crews will be working on street reconstruction. 1 week has passed since the horrific church shooting that killed 26 people in Sutherland Springs, Texas. That hasn't stopped churchgoers from gathering together on Sunday for a service at a nearby baseball field. Fox's Casely Stegel reports.
7 days later, and it is impossible to comprehend what happened inside this rural Texas church last Sunday. But the horror of what happened is not preventing this community from worshiping on this Sunday. The First Baptist Church Sunday service still went off as scheduled today, only today they gathered at a nearby baseball field. Clearly, because of the sensitive nature, cameras were kept far back, but it was a rainy and gray morning in Sutherland Springs. However, the message being sent to everyone, we will not be defeated. The pastor of this church, Frank Pomeroy, says he forgives the gunman who hurt or killed almost half of his entire congregation, including his own 14-year-old daughter, Annabelle.
Yes, and to be quite honest, I am more angry with the systems around than I am the shooter.
Later today, more funerals are planned. Dennis Johnson Sr. and his wife Sarah Johnson will be laid to rest. They had just celebrated their 44th wedding anniversary, had 6 children, and were excited about a 4th great-grandchild soon to be born. Visitation services are also scheduled today for 16-year-old Haley Kruger. Her mother says she volunteered to help with the church breakfast that morning, and she wanted to become a nurse. 26 people total lost their lives here last Sunday, 8 of them children, making this the worst mass shooting at a house of worship in American history. In Sutherland Springs, Texas, Casey Stiegel, Fox News.
A church just a few miles from Sutherland Springs set up a barbecue this weekend to help victims of the shooting. More than 5,000 pounds of food cooked, and it was all donated so all of the proceeds could help the families in their time of need. One volunteer is friends with John Holcomb, who lost 8 family members in that church shooting.
We're gonna sell everything we can and get whatever we can. You know, my goal would be to get 20, 30, 40,000 for these people. I mean, like I said, the money's never going to replace the actual victims, but it will help them in the, I guess, the recovering process of this.
Their goal was to raise a total of $50,000, and we did call to check if they made it, and we're told that they exceeded that goal amount. Right now, Oklahoma native Carrie Underwood recovering from some pretty serious injuries after a fall outside her Nashville home. She was treated for a broken wrist as well as some cuts and bruises. She said on Twitter this morning that she will be all right and that her husband is helping take care of her. But she did have to miss a benefit concert today for victims of the Las Vegas shooting and the recent hurricanes. Starting tomorrow, you can catch a movie at the historic Tower Theater in Oklahoma City. After 30 years, the theater will start showing movies once again. They're kicking things off with 2001 Space Odyssey. They've renovated the theater, and there will also be snacks available for purchase and a full bar. The Tower Theater plans to offer weekly show times from now on. We've got your back tonight if you're looking for a deal this holiday shopping season. What Walmart is now saying about how they're catering to people who would rather be shopping than eating turkey on Thanksgiving Day.